Hello everybody, what's going on? My name is Sir Medieval, and today we're going to be checking out some Greedfall gameplay from Gamescom. We didn't get a ton of it so far, but what we do have, we definitely have the opportunity to check it out, so we're going to be going into a couple different scenarios, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Kicking it off with a little bit of character creation. Now, we didn't get that much, but we did get kind of enough to kind of get a good idea of how we'd be able to use it. You know, things like changing the facial structure, the hairstyle, things of that nature. The game does feature a pretty good customization system that does feature a lot of different weapons and armor. But what we get to see during this character creator is kind of like a baseline for the male/female version of character creation. One thing I really like is how much detail and depth they kind of put into the character creator. A lot of times with RPGs, they kind of leave a lot to be desired. Now, although there's not that many hairstyle choices, I think that we've got just enough to be able to enjoy the game to the fullest amount. Same thing with facial hair. I'm loving the look of that, and those eyebrows looking good. Looks like we're also able to change the pigmentation and the skin color and the hair color as well. That kind of looks interesting. I dig it. Now, in terms of the actual other stuff like the advanced part of the character creator, we have to look a little bit more into that. I do see that there's other tabs at the top there. I don't believe I've seen other footage of the character creator specifically, so unless they've gone into it a little bit more in depth, this is the kind of gist of what we've been getting so far, but I'm looking forward to actually creating my character and getting into the world of Greedfall. I'm so glad that they actually give us the ability to kind of customize our character in this regard too, because when it comes to RPGs, I tend to want to get immersed, even albeit a little bit, in the characters. We also get to look a little bit at the armor system. In terms of that, like I was saying before, you get a bunch of different choices. You can really customize your character, and you get the ability to ally with certain factions across the world, so they'll have all different sets for you to enjoy as well. And for the next part, we'll be talking a little bit about the companion system, which we found out a little bit about, but overall, it's a pretty cool system, the way that you can actually interact with the companions themselves, and how the story progresses a little bit differently depending on which companions you bring with you. For instance, if you bring a companion into a city that's not exactly friendly with that city specifically, or their tribe is not, that's not going to be a very good diplomatic interaction, basically, is what will happen there. And also, of course, different companions have different abilities, things of that nature, so it's always good to kind of mix and match, find out which ones work best for you. I'm really excited about the companion team up here. I my god, I could not be happier. Not to mention the companions themselves all actually do have the ability to become a romance, or they can also end up leaving the party if you neglect them for too long. You can give them different equipment, things of that nature. I cannot wait to get that Dragon Age feel from this game. And not to mention, not just the diplomatic interaction and stuff like that with the companions, but also, as mentioned before, you can do the personal quests for them that kind of help you a little bit. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of equipment and things of that nature that we'll be able to offer for the companions. Definitely make sure you take good care of them. Always bring two with you, unless there's some kind of perk that is like a lone wolf perk that allows you to go without them. And also, I'm looking forward to seeing how they fight, what kind of abilities they might have, and what we'll be able to do with them in terms of the actual relationships and the bonuses we might get for the factions that we interact with. Not to mention, if you bring one that's friendly with the faction you're interacting with, that makes for a bonus when it comes to how friendly the faction is, things of that nature. So be sure to keep an eye on that too. It's going to be sweet. One thing that we'd also get to see as well is a little bit of the skill system and also the weapons and armor that we might have access to. What'll be really cool about this game is all the different variations of different types of weapons that we'll have, whether it's, a gigantic maul, two-handed sword, even a pistol, rifle, things of that nature. You'll be able to make use of anything and everything that you can pretty much find out in the open world. Also, allying with the natives or allying with the actual colonial factions might give you access to different weapons and different quest lines, of course. So it's definitely worth exploring, and it might even be worth checking out the factions over a couple different playthroughs, depending on how that turns out too. But what'll be really cool is the companions can also be equipped with different kinds of weapons and armor, so you always want to make sure to save something. If it's not something that you might use, it might be something that your companion might want to use. Use it to the best of their ability to kind of get the exact outcome that you're looking for. But I'm looking forward to seeing how all these ones kind of coincide, to see what kind of bonuses they might be able to give us. It's going to be so cool for sure. Next thing we can kind of take a look at is the skill tree system. As you can see on the skills tab, you kind of get access to 3 different trees, it looks like. More than likely gives you different abilities and things of that nature to kind of use. This one looks to be the shadow tree that they're looking at right now. That's pretty interesting, actually. I like the look of that too. And as you can see at the top there, we also get access to attributes and talents. Of course, that'll allow you to kind of customize your character to maybe be different than someone else's playthrough. Really worth looking at in terms of, theory crafting and building your character to make sure that you're actually combining the skills and attributes and things of that nature you want to kind of fit your playstyle as well. And with doing that as well, there might be other quest lines, or, the companions themselves might be able to teach you different skills. There might be specializations, things of that nature that we might be able to find out more about. But overall, I'm looking forward to seeing how this evolves over time. And finally, the combat in general in Greedfall just looks so insane. Actually, I didn't even see the magic abilities that they had yet. That looks really cool. I like the look of that. Not to mention doing that stuff alongside companions just sounds awesome to me. I couldn't imagine how fun this is going to be once we actually get in. We don't usually get a lot of, RPGs that we can kind of juggle around. And until next year when, games start coming out and we start getting more and more decent titles, I think this is definitely one that could take the cake and might probably even take, one of the best RPGs, if not the best RPG of the year, depending on how it turns out. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this goes. As you can see, you get access to a ton of different AoE moves and things of that nature. That skill system is going to play a big part on how you customize your character. So if you kind of want to be a hybrid kind of build or anything like that, it seems that you're able to fight with multiple weapons, and it's best to do that as well to kind of fit your play style. Very reaction-based combat, pretty fast paced, and of course you get a ton of different weapons to try out and use. I'm loving the look of those, especially the two-handed sword. Got them all right there as well, looking good. They seem to have different enchantments, and of course you can also take a look at their stats and the requirements that they have in terms of the attributes and things of that nature. The workbench allows you to, it looks like, seemingly upgrade the stuff. Yep, can upgrade those, and it looks like they go by different grades and things of that nature as well. You can also add different cosmetics to the actual armor, different upgrades, things of that nature, giving me a mad Dragon Age vibes, and I'm absolutely loving it. But overall, folks, that's all that we really have to talk about today. We didn't get that much in Gamescom, but they're probably saving the good stuff for the actual game itself. I'm so stoked to play it overall, and I cannot wait to go through a playthrough and see how the companions interact with each other. And with that, folks, that is all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a wonderful night or day. I'll see ya.